Hi, it's Joe Bianca. I'm going to do my first instructional painting video. I've done other painting videos before, but I just painted over music and sped it up. But I'm going to try to explain what I'm doing. And there's a lot of ways to paint. I mean, there's wet paint on wet paint. There's wet paint on dry paint. There's starting with a black canvas, starting with a white, starting with a red or any color. There's putting gesso on or plaster, and then that's what makes it very interesting. It's fun to paint and have all these different options. So this is just one of them, and we're going to start with negative painting. And I'm going to do another painting similar to the one I just did because it's fresh in my memory. So I'm going to set up the camera so you can see the canvas. First thing I'm going to do is get some Walmart paint, latex, very inexpensive, only costs $5 and it lasts 5 years. I don't want to put the arts and crafts store out of business, but I do my underpainting with regular Walmart paint. But before I use that white, I'm going to grab myself a bristle brush and I'm going to wet it. I'm spraying it. You can't see it. I got my camera set up, but I wet it so that the water goes up in here, soaks up in the ferrule, and protects it, the brushes, the hair, from flaring out. If the paint gets up there, it'll ruin it. So before you put paint on it, you wet it with water and then kind of just wipe it on your pants or whatever. I'm going to do trees in the background. And here's gray paint. I'll show you. And then I'm going to put a little blue to make the gray have some kind of life. I know you're just seeing, you're not seeing anything right now, but I have to get set up better with a tripod. But here's my palette knife that's pretty messy, dried. Acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is just colored plastic, really. And I'm going to mix the gray and the blue. And that's going to be the tree trunks. And the blue has a tendency to recede things. It's a cold color. And green is a cold color. And purple. And then the warm colors have a tendency to bring things closer. Red, orange, yellow. So here I'm just going to put some paint on. Now, I'm not going to be so careful about this. I start on the edge and I turn it so it gets thicker. See that? And I'll just do it a little bit different angle. Right? And this one will be thicker. And I'm not careful because I'm going to I'm doing a negative painting, little angle there, and maybe this one's straight down, arbitrary. That's nature, sort of like that in some instances. There's another thick one here. Now, I'm going to even just put some kind of like bushy things down here. Messy, blocking in. This is first stage stuff. Now I strengthen up where there's dandruff, where the white of the canvas comes through. So this is definitely making it look far away because of the color. Alright, and so there we go with the little bushy type things in the background. I make some higher than others. You don't want to have it all looking the same. Now I'm going to clean this here. You won't see me, but I'm spraying water and wiping it off. You don't have to have it perfectly clean. That's the air conditioner. And behind that is the Yankee game that you're hearing. So I'm just going to dip it in this this white paint. But first I'm going to dry it with my hairbrush. Okay, now I'm going to do negative painting. That means, just get that a little bit less wet. I'll clean it again. Negative painting is the opposite of what I just did, positive painting. I just put it on. Uh-oh. You can still see. I don't know how this is going to go, but so I'm dipping in the white. I'll put the white over here. Now I'll try to make the tree trunks look a little drying that off. Look a little more like tree trunks. So here's white paint. And I'm just going to cut into it. It's negative painting. Boom. You want them thinner on top. I don't mind the little bit of gray that's getting into the white. Kind of looks cool. And I'm going to do that with all the trunks. Make it look raggedy, tree-like, even the tops of the bushes a little. If you go too far, you can fix it. Just as long as it gets wider at the bottom. And later on, you can cover it with foliage if you don't like it. But in these back trees, I won't have any foliage. I'm going to just have branches put on afterwards. white is opaque, means it covers what's underneath. It's the most opaque color. So, I know I'm getting paint in my ferrule here. See, it's going up high, but the water's underneath protecting the inside of the brush, so no paint reaches in. The water's there first. Okay, I noticed you couldn't see so well the camera in the other position, so I'll just paint this way. Okay, so everything's dry. So I'm going to take the gray, about that much, like a drop, and a little blue. And my palette knife. And it's still a little wet from before. It's a little bit too blue, you can see. So I take more gray and put it in there. That's about right. I wipe it off as much as I can so I can use it. I'll scrape it off one day. Now I take my liner brush. Do the same thing. I'm going to wet it. And I'm going to wet the paint. So now the paint and the brush are wet. And I want to make it so that it's like ink, but not too thin, not too thick. It has to flow. And now we're going to do the branches. You don't want to make them look like snakes. Have like a kind of a nervous, twitchy hand. And we can also negative paint here if necessary. The branches go up the higher the tree branch. The lower, they need more room to go up, so they tend to start going down. We don't see that one. See that bump? I would just take the branch and go from there. And this side, see this bump here? I'll just take the branch and squiggle it right through there. And I see a branch here. Place. Squiggly. Now, see that bump? I'll put a branch there. That bump. I'll see a bump here. Get a branch there. You know, use your mistakes to add. Make sure like the base is big enough down there. Now I'm going to do this with all the trees. Okay, everything's dry, and I'm going to take this brush that I don't really care about that much. Still, see how it's flaring out? It gets an old one. See that? Because paint got up there. But I'll still try to protect it as best I can. I protect your brush. Don't worry. See? So I got it wet, and I just swing it out. Wipe my hands. And then, now, this is dry. I'm going to use, it's called a retarder. Isn't that politically incorrect? Well, it slows down the process of the drying, so we'll call it a challenged golden. Anyway, that's the one thing with acrylics. They dry fast, so it's hard to blend. Oils dry slow, too slow for my liking, and it's too unhealthy. So I'm going to take this retarder, excuse me, and just put that much on, and then have my blue paint in here ready, and I'll put a little next to the blue paint, drop of blue paint. I will close it so it's sealed, and I'll just rub the rest on. And now I'll take this brush I don't really care about. I'll dry it on my leg. It's clean. Anyway, I'm going to spread it all over the background. Now I'm working from the back to the front. That's usually how I do it, unless I'm doing like negative painting, like you saw earlier, or like a plum or something. A lot of times you got to do a plum or fruit, a lot of negative painting to get it right. And so, but usually I paint from the back to the front. Now that's all covered. Now that's going to stay nice and blendable for a while. And I got a drop of blue, a little maybe more, that much blue. And then I'll mix that with the retarder in here, and then I'm going to go like that. I can already tell that's too much blue, so I'll just leave it at that and spread it around. And what I'm going to do is, to get rid of some of that blue, always have a wet place to keep your brush so they don't dry on you, and I'll put in here my wet place. I'm going to take this blender brush, and I'm just going to wipe away some of that blue. But you'll see that it's kind of streaky. You won't see it on the camera, but I see it. It's kind of streaky. So this was dry. I know it's not getting up to the ferrule, and I'm going to keep it from there. So I have to work fast because I don't want this to dry in here. So now, to make it look less streaky, you use the opaque white. But this time, I'm using the heavy body acrylic paint, which is sort of like oil paint. And only without the harmful things. It's based on water. So I'm just going to I'll just put it here, just for the heck of it, right? There it is. There's the heavy body paint. That's what you usually end paintings with, but I want to do something. Okay, here's my sun. So I'll put it here, and from that position, I'll take a brand new brush, and again, protect it. But this time I want to dry it off a little bit better, because it's heavy body paint, and I don't want to ruin that. So what I'm doing is, remember, it's out of the camera, but I'm seeing where that red paint jar is. And I am going to make a line. Imagine that's the sun. And I'm going to go, there's a streak. And here's another streak. I'm following it in line. And there's another streak. So you can see how that's going. That once you follow the perspective line, your sun streaks will be more accurate, look real. Now I'll put this in a wet spot so it doesn't dry on me. I'll quickly take this and I'll pull down. I'll go across lightly. What that's doing, that's that's blurring it out, making it look like sun streaks, and it's also mixing with blue, making it look less streaky and not streaky at all. So that's the background. Okay, here's a fun part. Now the background's done, and so I'm going to take black and open it up. Always get my black in my hand. I'm going to put it with the blue, black and blue, and I might even mix it with this leftover from before. You know, the colors back here. I get a little of that in there too. Keep continuity of color throughout the painting. And I'm mixing the black, the blue. You can put green, you can put red, but I'm just going to use black and this blue plus that color. And I'm going to have some fun. This paint brush is already wet. I washed the other ones. Now I'm just gonna paint this black. I see a red door and I want it painted black. No colors in my world, I want them to turn black. I see the girls walk by dressed in their summer clothes. I have to turn my head until the darkness goes. Hey, the Rolling Stones ain't so bad. Alright, rock and roll. Okay, so after I do this, this is going to be all black. I'm going to take my Bob Ross. I love him with everything in my being. And I'm going to use his brush, put more black here, just a little bit more so I can get some on his brush. And take the Happy Man's brush. See how old it is? I started with him. Then I went to Jerry Yarnell style. He's a TV preacher and a Facebook friend of mine. Great painter. He went from acrylics, from oil to acrylics, and I followed his suit. Of course, it's healthier. Poor Bob, he passed away from lymphoma, and it's probably from the toxic oil paints and the cleaner. Now I'm going to put some bushes here in front of the gray bushes without, notice it's so far down, I don't worry about that. I want it to be dry. I don't worry about the ferrule. So I'm just taking and making sure that the back bushes are still seen. And so I have to quickly wash this before it dries. Okay, now it's dry, and here's my palette of acrylic colors. So I'm going to block in. It's going to look ugly and stuff, but I'm going to block in. Now, the farther the color goes away, the less chroma it has. That means color strength. So you want a weak green. So here's a weak green to begin with, and I'll even add some white to it along with that original color in the background. And I'm making a sort of like a, let me stand up for this. I'm making a sort of a base for these bushes here. Now I'm making it a little hilly, natural. Maybe pull it up a little some places. And then I'm going to go to a little bit of darker green and not cover that, but kind of blend it in a little. Now I'm going to go to the yellow to bring it a little closer. And remember, the warm colors bring it closer. And now I'm going to start making it dark again with going to that green and red. Red is the opposite of green. If you ever look at football or sports uniforms, you'll see that they usually use the complements in their football uniforms. And then I'm going to go and add black to all that so I can just get all the way to the bottom. And there is, now you also want like maybe some distance lines. That, you see, makes it look a little real. Now also, you want a little hint of that green on the bushes back here. You remember the sun? You don't want to cover all the black, so there's a little hint of green on the bushes. And that's a blocked in version or a stage of the painting. Okay, now the focal point isn't the grass. So all I'm going to do to fix it is I'm just going to go up and down so it looks like blades. It's still wet, and it gives it a kind of hint of the blades of grass. Then I'm going to take, if that was dry, and now I'm going to take my protected brush, wipe it on my pajamas, and then I'm going to put some light in the painting, like right here. Light like that, like the sun is hitting there, and now I'm just going to take that and just make it look like soft and blended. But going across, put down again, see, and across. Now it looks like a little light is sitting there. Maybe a little more than a little. Painting is a process, and it has a lot of mistakes in it. You got to correct the mistakes. See, I would do something a little different right now, or think about it, or this is the first time I'm getting a little bit of trouble because it's not dry enough. That's wet on wet painting now. So I'm going to try to put my white in. You see, to keep it from drying, I have to screw it in. You know, Claude Monet used to trash his studio. He used to get so mad. So instead of doing that, I just say, oh, screw it. See? And now I'll protect the bottle from getting dry. So I'll try white with that yellow. See what happens. Yeah, that's better. So now I got that going. I'll see if I'm happy with that, which I think I am. Just a kind of a following of the light there, because remember where our sun was. Okay. Okay. Good enough. Alright, now let me pause yet again. Now the beauty of painting is if you don't like something, you can cover it up. So, you know, I'm not crazy about a few things here. So I'm going to make pine trees in front. I think just two. And if you can see here, I'll take my protected brush with the water. I'll go on both sides, see that? And then I'll take one side and sweep it on the white. And then the sun is coming from, remember where? That side, the left side. So I'm just going to come down. And this here is a bravery test, Bob Ross used to say, because you mess up here, you're in trouble. And you can cover things you don't like, which I will do later. Kind of flare it out there at the bottom, but the same thing, you see? All black on both sides, and swipe the white through, get the white on the correct side, and come down a little more. Because you don't want to have everything looking the same. So, you know, I can go like, here's the sun's over there, so I can go like that if I want. Sun's over there, I can go like that. That's a shadow. There's other ways to make shadows. Once I do that, I'll just fix the bottom so it looks solid again. And now, where's my wet place to keep my brush wet? Right here, we'll keep it. Now I get my liner brush out again. And I'll get more black. I won't sing again. Put black down. I'm making that syrupy. So enough. I might hide this a little because I have to kind of get close to do this. Let me get close to you. Alright, here we go. I'm doing the same things up that I did before. But this time, I can't tip negative paint. So I'll speed it up now until this is over, this section. Okay, so now I take my fan brush. I'm a big fan of this brush. Ha ha ha. I kill me. I almost did. Anyway, I take green and black along with some of that original color. And wherever I don't like, I cover up. See that right up there? I don't like that. So, cover up. Now I'm going to put some leaves on top of the, and right across the trunk, but on top of the branches there. See, on top. And again, on top, but right across, on top here. Don't overdo it. And I'll do the same thing here. This is classical Bob Ross style with the acrylics. It's fun because you can come up with your own little tricks too that you invent, and you feel proud. And anyway, so there we are for that part. Now I have to let that dry, leave my hair dry. I'll be right back. Okay, so I didn't let it dry all the way, just a little, hardly at all. Now I take thick body yellow. I'm putting it here. I don't know if you can see it up there, but now I'm taking that same fan brush and I'm going to wash that off a little bit in this tray here. Tap it with my brand new tissue cloths. These actually become hard because, like I said, it's plastic, with colored plastic. So I'm wiping right through, and on top of the green, and keeping in mind where the sun is somewhat, you put a little yellow, and it'll blend in because it's a little wet under there, and it'll make a thick green, a medium green and a light green. And again, you kind of keep in mind where the sun is, but for this part, I'm not going to put the highlights just on one side. I'm going to put them on everywhere because I like the way it looks. And as I paint, more dark green gets into it, and the darker it gets as it gets further away from the sun. Okay, so that's that part. I'm not going to touch it. Now let me finish up the painting with the next step. Now for the last part, I'm going to make a bush right here. So I'm going to take this brush. It's already wet and protected and probably wouldn't reach up to there anyway. I dip it into a lot of paint, a lot of black paint, and I go right, say here, and I tap on it. Since it's not completely black underneath, you can see it. It's kind of green underneath. I'll rub with my finger to make a shadow, and then I'll tap a little over that to make it look like it's over the shadow. Then I'm going to tap into yellow, and that's going to make green. Now, it should have made green, but the black is too strong. So I'll take more yellow and put it in here. This is going to be a lot of yellow. And now I'll just like tap on the yellow. Come on, yellow. Okay, here we go. See the yellow? Which makes green. Alright, now once that's done, I don't want it to be so yellow because, first of all, let me just take a few branches and stick them up in the air. Stick them up. So, little flower things, you know, like here from the bush. Okay? And while I'm at it, before I finish, let me just sign my name. Okay. I signed my name before I'm done. Alright, so that's that with the liner brush. I'll use that again. But now, I take pink, and I should dry this. Now I take pink, and I put flowers on. Now, flowers are not going to be facing you, only one maybe, one or two, but the top flowers will be on the side and together kind of, and not in order. They got to be random. So you go like that, top flowers, and they're kind of to this side there. Got it. It's actually, you got to learn how to be random. We want to line our ducks in a row naturally. Now, here's one that's facing me. Not too much paint. There's one that's facing me, you, whoever. And we'll put another one here. So there's two that's facing, and the rest are kind of, you know, here and there and everywhere. Yeah. And you kind of look at it and you make sure that it looks kind of naturally. And the last step is you take your liner brush, you go into the black, and you put it, you gotta dry it. That should be good enough. So I have a liner brush again with black, and I'll just put it right in the middle. and then I'll try to get more on that one. And then here you kind of just boop him around a little, because you can see the side of him here. You see what I mean? That's not facing it. Over here, there, everywhere. Beetles. And now you take your black and you can even give it more of a leafy, dark feeling on the bottom. See that? So that it kind of goes up, creeps up. And this is one creepy painting. Okay, and that's it. I mean, I'll make more of a shadow there. And I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. And I'll just show you the final picture now.